Down through the years out in the wilderness. I remember on one occasion I had my friend Ed drunk out, and Ed had a tendency to get lost in the woods, and I would put him out on a moose. Back in those days you could fly around. If you spotted the moose you could land on the lake and go out and shoot the moose. And I had put Ed out that day on 4 different moose. And every time he got out in the woods, he got lost and never could find the moose. And then we came over to the lake where my cabin is, over the Cold Lake. And here's 3 big bull moose standing up there, 3 of them. And I said, Ed, now you can't miss those. 3 of them standing right up there on the side of that little hill. And I'm going to fly back and forth between those moose and the lake here 3 or 4 times, and you pick you out a trail so you'll know where you're going. And I flew back and forth. He says, I see how to get there to them. I'll get to them moose. So I let Ed out, and he started up there, and I said, now I'm going to take off from the lake. And I'm going to get way back on the other side of the lake, and I'm going to fly a beeline from the lake to those moose. So all you got to do is just go the way the airplane flies. And I'm going to circle those moose, come a beeline right straight back to the lake. And I'm going to do that, and circle those moose so you'll know where they are, the moose. Out there's so many little airplanes flying around Alaska. There are a lot of places where there's a lot of little airplanes flying around. The moose, after a while, if you're not buzzing them or something, get to where they don't pay much attention to a little airplane flying by. So I was up there, I would circle the moose. They weren't paying attention to me. They were used to airplanes running around. But I flew and I flew and I flew and I flew and I circled and everything. I was running a little short on gas. Man, I didn't see Ed anywhere. And then I looked down there, and he was out in a little open place. He had totally bypassed the moose, gone past them. However he got through them without seeing them, I don't know. It wasn't 50 yards, and back of him there was a big bull moose, and he was looking right at Ed and lowering his head and shaking his antlers at him. And Ed had laid his gun down, and he was waving at me that he couldn't find him. That means I can't find him. I said to myself, well, I'll show you where those moose are. And that old moose that was kind of shaking his head and stomping his feet, looking at Ed, I put the tip of my wing right on him, and I started around, and when I did, I pulled too tight a turn. When a little airplane stalls out in a turn, if you turn him this way, of course it's the top wing that loses its lift, and it inverts. The airplane inverts, which mine did. And I felt it going over and hit the throttle and gave it full throttle, trying to recover. But I just barely got the thing straightened out, and it went into a great big patch of alders and just tore those floats up and ripped the fabric off and tore the airplane almost all to pieces. And it was on fire the minute it stopped. There was fire in the cabin. There was fire shooting out of the gas tank. The cap of the gas tank had jarred off, and there was fire coming out from under the cowling. I had all my stuff in there. I had my gun, all our supplies and groceries and stuff in the back of the airplane. Pack boards. And I had a little fire extinguisher in there, and I kept it on a clip right under my seat, and reached for it, and it was gone. So I grabbed my gun. The door was jammed, and I had to kick on it real hard to get it open. And then I saw Ed's nice camera. It had jarred down on the floor, and I started reaching for it and saw the little fire extinguisher. It had jarred loose and was laying down there up against the rudders, and I grabbed that thing and squirted it on the fire that was in the cabin and put it out. And then I ran around there and I squirted it on the fire, shooting out of the gas tank, and put it out. And then I undid the cowling real fast and squirted it on the fire that was on the engine coming out of the carburetor and put it out. So I had my fire out. It didn't hurt me. The only thing I got was one little bitty scratch up here where I broke my glasses. I guess I never did find my glasses. But anyway, Ed finally got up there where I was, and we salvaged all of our stuff. We had 2 pack boards in there, and we put it on pack boards. Started walking around the lake to the cabin. The airplane was totaled as far as I was concerned, but the engine was still good. Didn't hurt the engine any. And Jack, who's making these tapes, he and 3 other guys and I went over there one time, and we got that engine out, brought it down to the lake shore, and I hauled it into town. So I still had a good engine for an airplane. And later I got another little T-craft, and I had 2 engines for it, and that was good. So that was quite a hunting experience.